lose track the lives we live. You hear the silence call your name, but you don't see the hidden chains. Every breath is logged and measured, every step is claimed as theirs. In the wire, souls are bartered while the world's unaware. They disguise the cage in sunlight, sell compliance as a dream, but the grid is always watching, brand flesh with unseen seams. You're glitching in the silence, some part of you still fights, but the signal drags you under when it calls you in the night. They become the chain code. You can feel the beast control, turning masses into data, bodies tracked and bought and sold. How can they fight the network when it's carving through the soul? They become the chain code, and it's tightening its hold. Barcodes etched into the spirit, flesh and numbers intertwined. Every thought is scanned and counted as they overwrite the mind. False redemption in the circuit, wired prophets preaching lies. Through the lens of hidden tyrants, they enslave you in disguise. You're glitching in the darkness, some truth is buried here, but the static keeps on calling and the end is drawing near. They become the chain code. You can feel the beast control, turning masses into data, bodies tracked and bought and sold. How can they fight the network when it's carving through the soul? They become the chain code, and it's tightening its hold. It feeds on compliance, your silence, its throne. It builds its dominion through circuits and bone. There's venom in the signal, it pulses inside. The mark of the tyrant you're trying to hide. Something underneath is waking, but something yearning to flee. If the blind would see the binding, they could burn the hidden name. Tear the code the beast implanted, refuse the numbered claim. Rage against the circuit, poison or be owned without a name. They became the chain code. You could feel the beast control, prisoners of the system, bodies tracked and bought and sold. They must fight the network, though it's tearing at the soul, or serve the chain code till it swallows them whole. The signal slithers through the skin, a quiet mark that pulls them in, and in the shadow of its throne, the beast prepares to claim its own.
Yes, sir, man. You already know what it is. We're back here to serve some more game on the ground for them hungry hounds. Just got the pound and are ready for the next rounds. With that being said, make sure y'all. I gotta stop saying that, man. Y'all too damn fat. I gotta quit endorsing y'all and getting all y'all snacks and shit. But with that being said, y'all can see the title of this episode, this live, whatever you want to call it. UFC embedded and then Candace Owens. Now, for the UFC embedded segment, I won't have it up on screen simply because, you know, they don't like sharing the content. And that's what I'm saying. I got to quit saying that because I got to quit endorsing y'all being fat. So, with that being said, yeah. So I'm gonna have it on my phone. Y'all be able to hear it. You just won't be able to see it for this first segment. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and jump into this, man. I gotta quit saying that too. I say that way too damn much. Let's get it.
Чувствую себя хорошо, все идет по плану. Ну, у нас уже тяжелые трюки позади. Сейчас техническая работа, да. Отрабатываем ударную технику, борьбу. Ну, уже подводка к бою. В первую очередь я хочу доказать себе, что я настоящий чемпион. Потому что не просто так пояс находится у меня. Поэтому я покажу себя на все 100%. А я думаю, фанаты ожидают зрелища, так как есть много сказано с его стороны, с моей стороны. И это будет что-то интересное. Мы будем делать все.
So I will say this right now, with the amount of trash talking that's been going on between the two, there better be some type of, blow for blow war going on in the octagon between Pereira and Enclave, because there's no way that y'all be talking all that smack. You be talking all that smack, and then you turn around and you just hold him to the ground. I don't really see that happening this fight. I think that Enclave is probably going to want to try and prove himself as a striker as well, and I think Pereira is going to knock him out. That's just how I think it's going to go, hopefully. So, yeah, bro, there's no way there's that much trash talking and it's not going to be a war. So, press conferences tomorrow, man. This is going to be interesting.
Chegando e tal, não vamos nos esforçar, a gente já fez o que tinha que ter feito e agora é só relaxar um pouquinho. Não pode parar, né? Não pode parar. Hoje, só dá lá, vamos na corridinha. Corridinha 40 minutos, Globão. When you carry weight, the weekly fight, you feel so good running. É, isso aí. Quer ficar junto com a turma.
Man, this dude riding on the side of the car, bro. You can't make this up.
Old lion, but it's still lion. Tá pensando ali correndo, né? Porque, tipo assim, eu já fiz uma maratona já. Corri 42 em 3 horas e 39 minutos. E aí, tipo, pô, vai ser um negócio legal, depois que para de lutar, pra incentivar as pessoas, né? Igual o Glover. O Glover parou de lutar, mas treina todos os dias, machucando, porque acho que, pô, eu sempre tenho vontade, então, tipo, não vou querer parar. É como se eu estivesse lutando ainda. Isso é meio doido.
So this dude ran 43 kilometers in 3 hours. That's crazy. And he's talking about chilling out after he fights and just being like a trainer type of thing. I wonder if that's just for the time in between his next fight, or if he's thinking about, really dialing it back as far as his activity in the UFC after this fight. I don't know. It's interesting.
Just kind of go through the motions, really just getting him to sweat and making sure the body feels good, warm up his feet, hit some jumps, stay explosive. A lot less live goes now, no chance of injury now you're this.
He said Nick went off on Candace again. What he go off on her for this time, bro?
Close to a fight, so all just preparation work now. More with our hands, get some simple combos in there, kick you, your legs going. The rest of the week, going through the game plan at the same time, visualizing the combos we're going to hit, visualizing certain things that we see the fight going. Yes. Good. It's all just making sure he feels good and he's primed and ready to peak for Saturday night.
Camp is over, man. Officially over. Fight week is here, baby. It's UFC 320 right around the corner. We'll be celebrating, get my hand raised, and we're going to see what's next. But first, I got to get through a tough, dangerous Yusuf's wall.
Right now, we are in UFC PI, one of the last
best workouts
Yuri
of the
Prohaska, boy.
preparation. The key is the movement, yeah, every time. That's why we are focused for short sprints, longer sprints, the strength and explosiveness from the leg, from the belly. This is like my own upgrade for the oxygen advantage breathing. The exercise for 40 seconds right now is like sprints without breathing. So no mouth breathing, no nose breathing, and everything has to be like closed. So that's why.
Jeez, this dude just said he's about to sprint without even breathing. This dude is like on some real life samurai type training. Like, we all knew that was his type of, like, I guess, style or whatever, or lifestyle that he liked to live. But he'd really be living that lifestyle, bro. That's crazy.
I have to close my nose. So this is it. I'm fighting the Khalil Roundtree, and he's very dynamic fighter. The Muay Thai basement. I'm literally the same in these things. So I like to be dynamic, hard punches, hard technique, flow in the movement. So I think this will be great.
My vicious attack dogs.
That's
Camp's
a big-ass
done, I'm
dog.
tired, so I'm just gonna take the dogs on a nice skate. Keeps me from expending energy I don't want to expend, and I just think it looks cool.
You know, it's funny. I remember doing that when I was a kid with one of my other dogs. I put her on a leash and grabbed my skateboard and just let her pull me all around the neighborhood, bro. Those were good times.
Originally from Hawaii, Oahu, the North Shore of Hawaii, like known for surfing, and been out here for about 8 years now, going on to 9.
Oh, he got an electric
It's my
bill.
humble abode. 2 weeks within having her, I just like shot out of a cannon and was like, I'm gonna train as hard as I possibly can. That was probably the hardest 2 weeks of my life. Just sleep deprived. Probably had the worst practice of my life too. Just beat up for 2 weeks straight. But every time I got beat up, it's like that didn't even really matter. I knew I got to come home to the sweetest little girl. She just brings me peace, and I'm excited to fight for her and fight to make her future better.
See, that's what a lot of people out there don't understand. And I'm gonna speak on this real quick. Is that y'all be sitting around talking about how you use y'all's kids as an excuse to not have time to do nothing. And it's like, bro, your kids should be the reason why you have plenty of time to put in the work and get that bag. Which is crazy. Like, a lot of y'all out there just love making excuses after excuse. That's crazy.
Today I needed meds, I did some real
Boy, Mirage.
live rounds, and that's why I choose to training here in my garage. I love fight here in Las Vegas. T-Mobile Arena will be full, and it will be all the good energy. I will be super motivated, and you can always hear the crowds cheer and everything else.
It's so good that fight is here in Las Vegas, T-Mobile Arena, because we are living here in Vegas and it's hard to go other places. Sometimes we have to find some stuff for us, what we need. And here we feel like home.
Training is not over. Now it's fight simulation. We have special guest in the building. Let's go.
Is that? Oh, it's eggs, nah, bro. They put this. Is that Sandhagen's face on a wacky inflatable arm flailing tube man? Bro, Marab is a clown, bro. This dude is a clown. That is crazy. Oh, dude, that is crazy. I love the way he comes up with these goofy ass things, bro. dude's a goofball.
We're in Vegas. It's fight week. Super excited. Obviously, a lot of stuff to do before I get too ahead of myself. It feels like my first couple of UFC fights where there's like a newness to it, which is a nice thing because I haven't felt that since the first couple of UFC fights I've had. Being a champ to me just means that I hit a milestone. You know, that's all that it really means to me. And winning this thing is where the work really starts. This is just one of those steps that gets me there, but I want to be a world champ, of course, and I will be a world champ, but it's more than that to me. It's about being the best fighter in the world that's ever done it. You know, the best fighter in the universe.
Dude, I can only imagine the suspense, especially if you fly somewhere, whether it's out of state or out of country, for a fight that you participating in, and you get there like 2-3 days early. I can only imagine the suspense that you got to be feeling just waiting for that night, bro. That's crazy.
Another day, same old crap, different fight week. A beautiful fight week. Do everything together to increase that vibe, to increase that bond, to reflect the positiveness on the fight. And man, as ready as he can be. As ready as he can be.
Boa.
Tempo.
É muito bom, né? A gente fez 3 aulas de sparring. Próximo da luta aí, evitar lesões. Então, mas, foi muito bem, né? Poderia ter ido mais. Mas também depois dos 3 rounds a gente fez um almoço específico, né? Pra complementar o treino. Acho que, tudo dentro do plano, né? Tá legal. Focado, né? Focado 100%. Tá próximo da luta. Aí. Feliz.
That boy's starting to get his head movement game up. That's crazy. You know, I remember seeing a video of him sparring, and he had that like crazy head movement going on like he did against Roundtree towards the end, where he was just dodge punch. And like this dude, he could be a very dangerous boxer if he really put his mind to it. I mean, he already is, but he could be an even more dangerous boxer. Just a boxer alone, and then you got the kicks too.
Todo time, com energia muito boa, é isso aí.
It's like this dude was built to fight people. That's basically what it was like. It's like this dude is built to just whoop people in the octagon, bro. I can't wait for the fight. It's gonna be great. Your boy Marab is a damn clown for that, but he's a goofball. This dude sometimes he be reminding me of damn Rufus from Kim Possible. But with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna move on in a minute. Yeah. I think we're gonna move on right now, actually. So yeah, man, but like this, I haven't been this excited for a UFC fight in a while. I think since Pereira fought Roundtree or Ankalaev, even though he lost that fight. I don't think he's gonna lose this one. I think he understands more now what he's going up against, and knows what he has to do to combat that. And if he doesn't, I'm going to slap the hell out of him. But with that being said, let me turn this playback speed up a little bit. So, alright, change this layout. All right, let's get it, man. CANDACE OWENS, let's go.
Taylor Robinson didn't kill himself. I mean, these are the phrases that we now use and that we say when we expect that the federal government is telling us a lie. Last week, I have to tell you, I was contacted by a source who I vetted with information that answered a lot of the lingering questions that we've had about the investigation. Not all of them, but some of them, some of the big ones. First and foremost, we were like, how exactly did it work? How did Tyler Robinson turn himself in, as we were told, but also never confessed? And did he actually author those absurd Fed messages? Because I'm thinking no. Lastly, what was he doing at Dairy Queen? Doesn't really quite fit into our timeline. Also, don't expect this kid.
Yeah, you know, that is one thing that I didn't really ever think about. If you're gonna turn yourself in, you're confessing to the fact that you committed a crime. So why would you turn yourself in and then turn around and not confess? That doesn't make any sense.
Kid who just tried out being a stone cold killer to really have an appetite. And why exactly did the Fed withhold that information at Dairy Queen? And why are they allegedly stalking the Dairy Queen to see who comes in and out? Well, we have the story that could possibly potentially answer all of those questions. And it certainly makes a lot more sense than the slop that the government is currently trying to feed us. First and foremost, Tyler Robinson has never confessed. They acknowledge that he has never confessed to this crime, and he still is pleading innocence on the shooting. In fact, I was told that he was, quote unquote, bewildered by the idea that he carved casings. I should be clear, he does not dispute the fact that it is his gun at all. It is his gun. But Tyler is not exactly a gun enthusiast. He doesn't hunt like his other brothers do. In fact, he's apparently a fisherman. The reason that he has that gun in the first place is because it is, in fact, a custom-made family heirloom. Tyler is the firstborn son, so he inherited. That's what firstborns do. They get the family heirloom. That is why he has the gun. As many of you guys have noted, the Robinson family appear to be conservative, hence the hunting and the fishing as the sports of their choosing. I am told that they are fans of Charlie Kirk, and they are
I love how hunting and fishing is associated with conservatism now. Instead of just good old-fashioned hunting for food. You can't make it up, bro. That's crazy.
fans of Donald Trump, although this source noted that Tyler, like many other conservatives, have expressed wish that Trump would sometimes tone down his speech and his rhetoric. Now, on the topic of rhetoric, I am told that Tyler absolutely did not author those text messages. What text messages? He has no idea where these messages came from. Believes that they are therefore entirely fictionalized. It turns out, and be shocked, that he doesn't actually use words like vehicle, which should come as no surprise to anyone that has a brain. By the way, I'm sure you caught this, but there's old footage of Tyler Robinson that is now circulating from a car accident that he had. And during the discussion with the officer that showed up, Tyler certainly refers to it as his car, not his vehicle, because that's how most English speakers refer to a car, unless they're in the military or on the police force. So here is 2022 police body cam footage, in case you missed that, of Tyler making a crash report. Take a listen.
Your mom's on her way? Yeah, she's gonna be a minute. She's gotta shuttle over from where she's at to her car and then drive over. Gotcha.
His mother was going to shuttle over from her car? Interesting. There's more, of course. Of most interest to me, what I've learned is that his father does not believe, his parents don't believe that their son committed this crime. I was like, huh? Excuse me? That's a far cry from what the media has been telling us. Remember, the media presented this amazing story.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. I remember hearing about how the father had to make this very hard decision to turn his son in, and worked with the pastor who was allegedly a retired sheriff department officer, whatever. That's crazy.
The father realized his son was guilty, so it goes, right? And then he phoned over a friend to help him convince his son to turn himself in, because this guy, this mysterious guy was a friend and just had a connection with Tyler. And eventually they said, you got to do the right thing here. We know this is you. That was the vibe. Certainly that's what the media was putting down for us to pick up. Well, I was told actually that it was kind of the opposite. That quote unquote family friend, who we learned was a former detective with the police force, at least, and so therefore has strong ties with the police station, informed the family. It was that in-between person that informed the family that Tyler had been identified as the shooter. He recognized him. He knows Tyler. He gives them the heads up. And then I'm told, and I believe this, that the way in which he got arrested, or rather turned himself in, was because that family friend slash neighbor slash former detective told him, hey, it's best for you to turn yourself in because there's only one of two options here. Either you turn yourself in and everything is peaceable, or, the SWAT team could come in here and arrest you and things would get crazy. So that's what happened. He went over to their house. Tyler was called over. Tyler was bewildered. He disputed the idea that he had murdered Charlie Kirk. In fact, according to my source, Tyler has never even stepped foot on UVU campus. Tyler, it turns out, which has already been revealed, was accepted into Utah State University, not Utah Valley. And that's actually interesting if you pause and reflect on that, because we didn't really consider how on earth Tyler became not just familiar with the layout of the campus, but familiar with the rooftop layout of UVU campus. So familiar that he knew exactly how to scale across the rooftops to duck down in order to take an almost impossible shot at a Charlie Kirk who was sitting beneath a tent. How did he know how to do all of that? Had he been there before? Did he knew where Charlie was going to be sitting and that he would have that shot from on top of the Losey Center? What? Right? I would actually, and I don't know, but I would imagine that even actual current UVU students don't know that possibility. Like, they're not even that familiar with how to scale the rooftops and what shots they can take from it. We'll see. Curiously, however, my source says that Tyler Robinson was nearby the campus on that day. I'm wondering if that fact, which I'm trying to learn more information regarding, explains the Dairy Queen photo. Because what was he doing around the campus on that day? Where exactly was he around the campus on that day? This photo never made any sense. I plugged it into my timeline. It wasn't fitting in. So if you're wondering why exactly Tyler would agree to go to the police station if he's not guilty, ironically, the police were honest that day on one of the points. Well, first and foremost, that point is Tyler is not suicidal. He wanted to go to the police station so that he didn't risk accidentally getting shot by the police swarming his home, as I said earlier, in a theatrical arrest setting. But rather confusingly, Nate Brooksby, tells us that Tyler is suicidal. Whatever. Let's just take a listen to what Nate Brooksby
Who the hell is Nate Brooksby?
said after he had been apprehended. Take a listen.
So I get a call from my friend, and his said, "Hey, how you doing?" Good. And it's not, he's been retired a few years. We'll call each other. It's not unusual for me to get a call from him or vice versa. And at 8:02 p.m. he calls me. Hey, I can tell his voice is kind of shaky. So my first thought is, who died? Like, who's he going to tell me that died? And then I couldn't fathom what actually came out of his mouth. So he said, "Hey, I know who Charlie Kirk shooter is. I know the family through religious association, and he's in Washington County now, and we're working on trying to get him to come in voluntarily." During that phone call, some information was provided about Tyler potentially having some suicidal ideations, was en route to a remote area, Washington County. The parents convinced him not to do that, and conveyed that they would stand by him and help him surrender peacefully.
I'm told that's not true. Tyler was not suicidal at all. He was just confused and didn't want to get shot. And then he gets to that part, right? He then tells us, Brooksby, that he came in willingly because he didn't want to die. Let's take a listen to that portion.
Yeah, that's a fact, bro. Like, watch. Just look at the way he looks whenever he speaks. Like, even his eyes.
Within the hour, my friend drove Tyler and his parents to my office, where he was greeted by plainclothes detectives. So that was part of the deal. Is Tyler knew it was just inevitable with all the law enforcement pressure that his picture in the news, the gun on the news. He knew it was inevitable that he would be caught. He was fearful of a SWAT team hit on his house, or he was fearful of being shot by law enforcement. So part of the negotiation and getting him to bring himself in was that we would treat it as delicate and as soft as possible to make him feel comfortable to where he would show up at my office, and that's exactly what happened.
It can't be both. It can't be both. Was he suicidal and wanting to die, or was he worried about dying? It can't be both, and I didn't catch on to that early on.
Yeah, if you suicidal like that, why the hell would you worry about getting shot? This doesn't make sense, bro.
The answer was he came in because he is not suicidal and did not want to get shot and was confused, as I am told. Now, you're probably wondering why the father and the mother didn't speak out to assert his innocence. That would make sense, right? Why don't you come right out and dispute everything immediately? Well, interestingly enough, I'm told that because the feds told them that if they spoke out, their lives could be at risk. Like they needed to keep things private, and they convinced the family to go into witness protection. Like, your lives are in danger. You shouldn't say anything. Somebody could, like, just come back and try to harm you guys because of what your son did. You should go into witness protection. Don't speak to anybody. Trust us, we're the feds, bro. And they agreed, of course, in the fog of it all. Why wouldn't you agree? But then, like any good, maybe conservative family, you start going, I don't really trust these feds. Like,
Let's see. Let's try to think of a reason why they would have to go into protective custody. If the quote-unquote conservative side was as radical as the quote-unquote left side, then I could understand why. Because if that was the case, then there would be a ton of people out hunting Tyler and his family. But they're not. And the feds know that too. How the whole government knows that. So why would they have to tell the family you need to go into protective custody? The only thing I could think of would be to shut them up. To keep them quiet and off the internet from saying anything at all. It's crazy, bro.
a little suspicious about the feds. Here's another point of interest, okay? His father had no idea that Tyler was gay. That's what I'm told. They are learning this in and through the media. They thought that Lance was just his roommate, and they were especially shocked because apparently Tyler kept mentioning to them that he wanted them to meet some girl that he was seeing. Now, I would like to interject my own voice here and say that I think this girl was likely Lance, and Tyler was working up the courage to tell his family that he was gay. That is what is most likely, in my opinion, because we know for a fact that Tyler was in fact in a relationship with Lance, because we have exclusive photos, by the way, they're about to show you, that the two of them posted to their Instagrams. This is Lance posting Halloween era photos. I forgot to post. My boyfriend is the best. Love you. Don't worry, that handle has since been taken down of what Tyler's handle was, but he's got a handle that doesn't have his name in it, so he's maybe trying to hide this stuff. And then there's another photo of them. And this one's posted by Lance again, pics from when Tyler had a mustache. You can see that they were in a relationship. Just makes sense that he was working up the courage to maybe tell his family about that. Now, I was told also that Tyler is
That's nasty as hell, bro.
off the charts intelligent and always has been. We know this. He had a perfect GPA in high school. Now, that is precisely what made the idea of him being so stupid as to author a full confessional via text messages pointedly absurd. Like, any person with a modicum of intelligence is going to go, I'm not going to put this down in writing with every detail. And apparently whoever offered those messages, like the feds, didn't have a modicum of intelligence, or they would have maybe not included every single detail there. The family says that the photo of the young man that is coming up the stairs, which was shared, that blurry image, is definitively not Tyler Robinson. And let me just say, I never thought it looked like him. Neither did you. Okay, face looks different. Face looks more narrow. Also, that person looks taller. Every time I see, I'm like, this person is taller than Tyler Robinson. Tyler Robinson also appears to have full lips, even though this image is blurry. We're not looking for someone that got fuller lips. And Tyler Robinson looks broader than that individual walking, right? So I'm on board with that person walking up the stairs. It's not Tyler Robinson, because I feel like it was intentionally blurred. They also never gave us the footage at all, because in order to blur it, they probably needed a static image. Also, the family believes that, and this is really interesting, Tyler Robinson's apartment was staged after his arrest. Now, you will recall that I spoke to Lance's family, and one of the things that Lance's family said was, hey, we own that apartment. They pay rent to us. We've never met Tyler Robinson, but I can tell you that it seems like they were trying to hide the fact that this apartment got raided. And it's very strange that they immediately cleared Lance as a suspect. And I was told by other people in the department that they wanted to keep that raid very hush-hush. They didn't want anybody to know about the raid. There was no mention of this raid, and Lance immediately gets cleared as a suspect. Why? Well, according to Tyler's family, they went to that apartment after his arrest, and they felt the apartment was staged, and that intentionally in Tyler's room, a furry bed was placed, almost sort of implying that they're trying to transfer the attributes of Lance onto Tyler. And
what the hell is a furry bed, bro?
that's shady. But again, when I put together what I'm being told by Lance's family and what I'm hearing from the Robinson family through a third party, I will say that it matches. It kind of seems like they're agreeing. One family's going, "Hey, Lance is kind of evil. Why is he getting cleared?" The other one's going, "Tyler's not this guy. Tyler's not this guy. So what the hell is going on, guys? What is actually going on right now?" There's also something else that's weird that I want to mention here, and that is the unusual lengths in which the media and the sheriff's department, they've gone through all of these lengths, I would say, to protect the identity of that former sheriff friend who was the one who convinced Tyler to turn himself in. Even in that press conference, by the way, Brooksby, I don't like the way he's moving. I don't like the way Nate Brooksby is breathing. I gotta be honest with you. It's a vibe. For no reason at all, he feels like he has to explain how he got on the phone with this sheriff friend of his. Like, nobody asked you whether or not it was usual for him to call you. He's kind of over-explaining here, in my opinion. Take a listen.
At exactly 8:02 on the 11th, I received a call from a friend of mine who happens to be a retired detective that worked for me for many years. I didn't put that out there initially. I wanted to protect that individual as much as possible. Unfortunately, in the court documents, which is standard, he was referenced as a retired Washington County deputy. So I didn't put that out there. It was in the court docs. I was trying to protect even that information and just saying retired law enforcement in general.
Why are you trying to protect?
The way he moves his head. It's like he's trying to convince himself that what he's saying might not be true. It's like somebody told him what to say and now he's having to say it. And it's like, you know, whenever somebody talks normally, like you're having a normal conversation with someone, they're just normal body language. Whereas when you're having a conversation with somebody who was told to say certain things or to not say certain things, they have that kind of different body language type of thing going on, to where they're always nodding, they're always moving their hands, and it's like this doesn't feel like this. I ain't gonna lie, bro. He doesn't really seem like he's quite telling the truth. Now I could be tripping, but based on the way he looks while he's talking, probably not.
Tim, why did you feel the need to explain to us earlier? It's not unusual for him to call me this guy, but I'm unfortunate that information is in documents that he was, formally working for me and working with me. What do you mean? If he was formally working for you, that would mean he was a public figure, and this should be usual. Public figures, people that work for police departments are always public, and their informations are something, their name is someone we can easily research. It's nonsense. He's weird about this. He says that he retired. I think a journalist asks in the audience, that former friend detective, how long has he been off the force? And he says, I don't know if we have that clip, or maybe we didn't cut that, Skylar, but he's like, 3 years. But actually, we were able to figure out who that individual was. And I feel someone that we need to get in touch with. We tried to get in touch with him. The name of that individual is former Deputy Mike Mitchell. Okay? Deputy Mike Mitchell. Now, oddly, despite a career of 25 years in the police force, I can't find a single trace of him in old newspapers. So I'm looking.
Deputy Mike Mitchell. Let's look something up real quick, because I'm curious. Okay. In the county sheriff department, deputy is the equivalent of a police officer in the foundational rank for sworn personnel. Deputy sheriff can later become a detective or hold other higher ranks within the department. Okay. So they're maybe probably around the same rank. Because she said Deputy Mike Mitchell, whatever the hell his name is, and he said detective, and that kind of made me question a couple of things. But let's keep going.
For more information on this guy, I understand that he knows Tyler through the Boy Scouts. He's involved in the LDS Church, and I think Tyler was the Boy Scout leader. That's the connection there. We were able to confirm that this Mike Mitchell lives on the block, lives nearby, as was told via other sources. And thus far, we have only been able to even see a picture of him. There's just one picture or a set of pictures that we were able to find. And that, again, which would mean Brooksby lied a little bit. I don't like a little bit of lies, because you usually have to lie a little bit when there's something bigger that you're afraid of. According to this post, he retired last January. Here it is. On the left, you have Brooksby. I don't trust that guy. Just don't trust him. And on the right-hand side, you have, today we celebrated the career of Detective Mike Mitchell. After over 24 years of serving, 24 years, Washington County, he is retiring, starting in the jail back in 1999. Sheriff Brooksby and Detective Mitchell both had some wonderful stories to share. We would like to give our heartfelt thanks to Detective Mitchell and all who came out to give him a warm send-off. Congratulations, Detective Mitchell. This is the only trace of this guy I could find. That's weird. That is very odd. That is unusual. That is an anomaly. When you serve that long in the police force, you inevitably make it into the news. So I am asking, and we tried to reach out to this individual. We have had no luck. If you have any more information about this individual, if he is your Boy Scout leader or he works for your church, please send us tips at CANDACEOWENS.com. Guys, I'm going to again say here, we appreciate all of the tips, but please don't send us links to somebody else's video and their theories, because we're a very small team. There's literally 4 of us, and we want to get to actual tips pertaining to the questions that we're asking and that we're looking for about the individuals that we're mentioning, not other people's theories. If they have a theory about what direction the bullet might have traveled, please reserve that to our social media handles. Tag us on Facebook, tag us on Instagram, and we'll take a look at those videos. But we really want to keep the tips lines for answers to the questions that we're coming across. And again, we appreciate you guys so much, because we wouldn't have gotten as far as we have if it wasn't for that tips box. I do also want to say, before we get into reading and telling you something even crazier that happened, I'm talking crazy, I do want to assert here that I'm uncomfortable with the fact that despite all the friends that Charlie Kirk made, all the schmoozing that he did, presidents, right, department heads, I am the only person that is publicly demanding further investigation into his assassination. Why? It's totally rubbing me the wrong way. Something's not right here. Even Turning Point USA, they're just like, we've accepted. Obviously, there are holes in this narrative, and they're just like, we're gonna just keep up his show. What is going on, actually? I just want to say that and get it off of my chest. I don't like it. It's rubbing me the wrong way. All right, guys, throwing it to some of our sponsors. I tell you all the time about preborn.
Go ahead, skip on through all these sponsors.
That happens. That was really you
that, Candace.
running through the paying out. It looked suspicious. He was wearing when I.
Right. Now, I do want to say this. I haven't been paying attention very much, but a little bit. I haven't really seen anybody else call out for the truth about Charlie Kirk and what happened to him, except Candace. Now, Trump might have spoken on it, he might not have. I'm not sure. I haven't seen any videos. If he did, I haven't seen any of the videos. If he didn't, I still haven't seen any videos. That could be one of 2 things. Either one, he did, and they just shadow banned all those damn videos, or 2, he didn't. Same thing with J.D. Vance. You know, the only time I've seen them speak was whenever it first happened. Haven't heard them say anything about it afterwards. I haven't heard anybody say about how we need truth. And I don't know if that's because they genuinely believe that Tyler Robinson did it, or there's more to the story that nobody knows. I don't know.
Aired a photo online of a person that looked suspicious. He was wearing a black suit and black glasses, and he seemed to have a strap hanging out of his bag. Here he is right here, and he was in the food court. I shared that photo because Nick had sent it to me into our tips box and said, this person looks rather mysterious. He's running through the food court. And from there, he kind of became my boots on the ground. He's like, hey, go to UVU. I'm a major Candace Owens fan. I want to help in any way that I can, okay? So that's how that happened. That was really, and right away, he told me on like day 2 of the investigation that he worked on Phil Lyman's gubernatorial campaign. Phil Lyman ran against the current Governor Cox, and he lost. And one day, very early on, it's supposed to be like day 3, Nick cold calls me, and Phil Lyman's on the phone. Okay, like I said, he ran for governor, and I was prepping for the show, and things were early on, and I was still in a very aggrieved phase, and I didn't really know I was on the phone with this guy, Phil Lyman. I was like, hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that you're offering help. And Nick insisted to me, he's a fantastic person. He has tons of resources. He knows the area. If you need any help, he can help you. Okay, great. Fast forward to me looking into the witness list, and obviously we spoke about this Tiffany Peterson Barker, that very weird clip of her with her nieces at like 4 a.m. in the morning, just speaking on Good Morning America, and her energy was just weird to me. I thought her being there was weird. Obviously, this is my podcast. I can say whatever I want. We reached out to her, and then she gave us a ton of information, but never actually presented to us. She never sent me directly any footage that could verify that she was there when Charlie Kirk got shot, okay? And she was a bit upset that I didn't clarify that. I thought it was weird that she wouldn't just text me the footage, because it didn't allow me to confirm that she was where she said she was. That's what metadata is for. Metadata instantly will say, here's where you were, at what time, and this is this person's iPhone. So I wasn't gonna lie to my audience. I just told you guys, hey, you can check her out on her Instagram. Here's her excuse. She says that this is why her nieces said that, and we sort of moved on, right? But then I learned from Nick that the photo of the person who was wearing that black suit and dark sunglasses had come from Tiffany Barker's mother. I was like, well, that's weird, whatever. And then you'll recall we learned from Tiffany, and I was trying to figure out, how did you get this hit on Good Morning America? Like, did you share something that would have had them reach out? Well, then I told you, she told us, actually, Phil Lyman is the person that put me on Good Morning America. My sister ran with him as lieutenant governor, and I was like, oh, okay, so Phil Lyman got you that position on Good Morning America. You had essentially a connection there that made that happen. Don't know how I missed this, but then I learned that Phil Lyman himself was very involved in all of the communications that immediately went out about the shooting, and that his car was in the driveway of the now infamous TMZ footage, which showed the shooter walking twice.
Wait, his car is in that? Wait. So his car was in the driveway of that doorbell footage or whatever of the alleged shooter walking down the street. So that was his footage. Or was the house across from him?
That day by this house. In fact, Phil Lyman says that he had just pulled into that driveway minutes earlier and had just missed the shooter. Here he is in his own words speaking to Kaylee McEnany. Take a listen.
I do want to linger on a moment for what you just told us, and I'm going to ask the team to pull back up that surveillance footage that we've gotten from TMZ, from those neighborhood cameras. You said that in that footage is your driveway, and you parked there at 11:30 a.m. We know this footage that you're looking at was taken at 11:49 a.m. So you would have been on that street, that driveway, 19
yes,
minutes.
Right across. Yeah, it's not my driveway; it's my aunt's driveway. Parking lot was very full. He's walking in front of my aunt's house there right now, and my cousin's house is the driveway that is taking that photo, and my CRV, the gray CRV in the distance there, is my car. I parked there probably 10 minutes before he walked by, and I had not seen this footage until just now, and it just keeps, so many things that keep linking up. It's really astonishing to me. And then we went back to this house afterwards. They thought they had the shooter, so I took a friend of mine. We went back to my aunt's house and said, well, we'll just hang out here for a while. And before long, the people were combing the backyard, as you saw. She had the footage of that, and pretty soon helicopter.
So I think that was another decoy. I don't know what the hell that is. It could be a decoy, but I don't. A decoy just doesn't really. No, I think Tyler Robinson was the decoy. It had to have been Tyler Robinson and whoever the hell is. So he could be a decoy. But I don't know. The way this dude... Let's go back and listen for a second. Listen to what he says. Listen to how he words this.
It just keeps so many things that keep linking up. It's really astonishing.
Linking up. Okay, never mind. I was the one that was tripping.
To me. And then we went
I
back.
thought he said leaking up. Like so many things kept leaking. No, I was the one that was tripping.
Back to this house afterwards. They thought they had the shooter. So I took a friend of mine. We went back to my aunt's house. I said, well, we'll just hang out here for a while. And before long, the people were combing the backyard, as you saw. She had the footage of that. And pretty soon helicopters are overhead. And so this is very, very local to me. Not only is it Utah, but it's kind of my neighborhood where I spent so much of my childhood and all of my relatives.
Yeah.
This is really astonishing. I got up yesterday morning at 6 o'clock to drive up and meet Charlie, and I haven't been to bed since then, because it's just one thing after another, and so astonishing that this could happen in Utah.
Now, just to be clear, and to reiterate, 19 minutes before the shooter walked across, he had just pulled into the driveway. Phil Lyman pulled into the driveway. He says that he saw Charlie Kirk that day. We're going to get to that. Also, when he says, like, he grew up there and his family owns, we were able to determine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 homes right there. Incredible. Okay. Absolutely incredible. And that, his little press tour, obviously now you're like, explain your car was in the driveway. So the issue's close to him. That kind of makes sense. Then he went on to Alex Jones and spoke about where he was when the shots rang out. And it was kind of, and I'm laughing here because it's kind of absurd, he kind of sort of blames it on these two random goth girls, maybe. Like he's kind of implying like there were these girls that were wearing black and maybe they should be taken a look at further. Take a listen.
Just yesterday, someone comes in and says, we've got video. He came off the roof. He came up here to the parking lot, got in the car with an individual, and they drove away. Well, that's not the story that came, so that he escaped another route. And there are people who are coordinating this thing. I do not believe that 30-06 that they showed recovered in the bushes was ever on the roof. I think it was in the bushes to start with. And now I'm not saying that Tyler Robinson wasn't on the roof. I'm not saying he didn't pull a trigger. I was in very, very close proximity. So another interesting thing, like I say, I left the front of the stage. I wanted to meet some of my friends and bring them down front. So I was clear at the east end, and I heard this loud boom. I heard this loud bang. And I turned around and I'm looking like, what was that? What was that? And pretty soon some people started, running. Everyone was trying to process. And I thought, this is a gunshot, and there's going to be more of them. I thought it could turn into a mass shooting. So I go to the people closest to me. Everyone's ducking down behind the concrete retaining walls, and some of them were still kind of oblivious, but there were two people that were standing there. Two girls, very goth, very black, and I just walked, I stepped up to the side of them, and I said, did that not happen right here? Did you hear that? Was that right here? And they said, yeah, it was just right over there. So they're confirming, yeah, the shooter or wherever that sound came from is right here. The thing that didn't really dawn on me is that they were not running. They were not frightened. In fact, as I stepped up, I heard one of the girls, and they were talking to each other, and they're looking at these kids, looking at the scene down below them of all these people fleeing for their lives. And she says, go F yourselves. And like I say, I was not processing that. I was trying to figure out what was going on. I thought this is a separate conversation. I don't know what it is. In hindsight, as I've watched that over and over, it's like, these people were not afraid.
You're sitting there watching people scramble for their lives, and you're gonna sit there and say, go fuck yourself, bro? That's crazy word.
Okay, so what I get from that is he was up high because he says they're looking down below, and that maybe people that are wearing black are immediately suspects. I don't know, because they were not afraid. Anyways, he also went on to a local Utah news station and spoke about how he was with Charlie just before Charlie went on to stage. Take a listen.
Phil, thanks for joining us, first of all. But I saw a picture. I saw a picture of you with Charlie Kirk, and it looks like you were like maybe right before he went on stage. Is this just like minutes before this happened?
Yeah, no, I was basically backstage, and when he came out and was throwing the hats, I was there. I was standing next to the stage, and I would have been there when the shooting took place, but I needed to go meet some of my friends. I didn't want to just hang around. So there's a part of me that's glad that I wasn't in close proximity, and part of me that feels bad that I wasn't there, just in some form of moral, presence and support. It's such a tragic thing.
When I combine those clips, I'm kind of unclear as to where he was exactly when the shots rang out, if he was close or if he felt bad that he wasn't close. Anyways, he went onto Instagram that night as Tiffany was prepping her Good Morning America hit, I suppose. And he speaks further about what he was doing back onto campus and what exactly he remembers. Take a listen. Again, this is on September 10th, and it's around 11:30 p.m. at night.
Hey, it's September 10th, 2025, and I was just heading back from Salt Lake to Blanding. I'm getting a very late start. It's about 11:30 at night, and I wanted to swing back by UVU campus where Charlie Kirk was killed today and see if I could let a few of the police officers know how much I appreciate the work they're doing, see if there's some college students here that I could rub shoulders with, more for my benefit than for theirs. But what I really wanted to share was I was very close this morning where Charlie Kirk was at, met him backstage, and we talked for a moment before he went on stage. And I was backstage as he started speaking, and then decided to go up top, and I went up to the top, and ironically was very close to where the shooter was. Apparently, the shot was very loud, and I determined pretty quickly that whoever it was on the roof. Yeah, it was a 200-yard kill shot.
Where?
So he was on the roof now?
Was he? I don't know. I find this to be a little weird, but look, let's be clear. By no means conclusive of anything other than perhaps a strange coincidence. And
how the fuck did he get on the roof?
Maybe this is why he feels so impassioned and wants to keep speaking about it. Also, he's a gubernatorial candidate. Makes sense. This would be a political moment to show that you're a leader. And look, life is not exactly an Agatha Christie novel, right? Where the guilty party somehow inserts himself into the investigation. So I park that aside, I keep pushing, and I'm following more public leads. But also, I do recall in the back of my mind that both Phil and Tiffany Barker, and as it would turn out, another person that lives on that street with the last name Shumway, kept trying to get me to look into Governor Cox because he's, according to Tiffany, very supportive of the trans stuff. You should look into Tiffany said, into Governor Cox. And similarly, the Shumway emails were like, you should look into this Governor Cox because he likes trans. So they're open and close. That feels to me always just like Fed bait, left versus right, right? He likes trans people, so it has to be him. Okay.
That's nasty, bro. That's nasty. All I gotta say about that is that's nasty. That's nasty. So, this dude, first of all, he said he was real close. He was in the crowd watching people scatter and flee for their lives. Then he said that he wasn't that close and was trying to figure out where the shots came from. Then he turned around and said that he was on the roof. Unironically, very close to where the shooter was. And this is the type of thing that you can't make up, bro. This is the type of thing that you cannot make up. Shut up. I don't like it. It's too scattered, bro. Right now, it's too scattered. There's so much deception going on right now that it's not even funny. I'm starting to think, like at first, when I first heard about this, I was like, yeah, fuck Tyler Robinson. He needs to get the death penalty. But now I'm starting to question that. I'm starting to really question, did he really do it or did he not do it? And I knew the feds were involved, or the government was involved in it somehow. Whether they paid him to do it or they blackmailed him into doing it, I knew they had a hand in it somehow. But now I'm starting to think that he was just a scapegoat. Because this really ain't making no sense. It's really not. And the fact that nobody else is publicly demanding the real story behind what happened. They want it to be like another JFK. They want it to be like another Martin Luther King. Just shoot him and move on. It's crazy. It says, one shot was definitely a professional hit. That's what I'm saying, bro. Even Thomas Matthew Crook's goofy ass couldn't shoot Trump. So why would Tyler be able to shoot him? Even if Tyler was a hunter from 200 yards away. Let's look up approximately how far is 200 yards away. How far is 200 yards? That's 2 football fields, bro. That's 2 football fields. A 21-year-old kid ain't shooting nothing that far with one shot perfectly in the neck. That's not happening. I don't think so. It don't make sense. I don't know, man. But we'll continue this episode maybe tomorrow. Probably, because I already know if I react to the damn press conference, they're going to remove that shit for copyright. So I'll probably split it up. Or I might just do both because it's not like we'll be watching a whole episode tomorrow. So I'll probably end up doing both tomorrow, the press conference, and then continuing on with this. I don't like the direction that it's heading in right now. It's like throwing a grenade into a tornado. When that grenade blows up, the shrapnel just blows everywhere. It's all chaotic. This whole case right now just feels like a tornado. Just all over the damn place. So anyways, man, I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Make sure y'all share with your friends, your families, your mummies, your aunties, your grannies, and everybody else that y'all know. I'm finna let this outro play and I'm finna dip, man.
It's crawling under human skin. Their numbers track the lives we live. You hear the silence call your name, but you don't see the hidden chains. Every breath is logged and measured. Every step is claimed as theirs. In the wire, souls are bartered while the world's unaware. They disguise the cage in sunlight, sell compliance as a dream. But the grid is always watching, brand flesh with unseen seams. You're glitching in the silence. Some part of you still fights, but the signal drags you under when it calls you in the night. They become the chain code. You can feel the beast control, turning masses into data, bodies tracked and bought and sold. How can they fight the network when it's carving through the soul? They become the chain code, and it's tightening its hold. Barcodes etched into the spirit, flesh and numbers intertwined. Every thought is scanned and counted as they overwrite the mind. False redemption in the circuit, wired prophets preaching lies. Through the lens of hidden tyrants, they enslave you in disguise. You're glitching in the darkness, some truth is buried here, but the static keeps on calling and the end is drawing near. They become the chain code. You can feel the beast control, turning masses into data, bodies tracked and bought and sold. How can they fight the network when it's carving through the soul? They become the chain code, and it's tightening its hold. It feeds on compliance, your silence, its throne. It builds its dominion through circuits and bone. There's venom in the signal, it pulses inside. The mark of the tyrant you're trying to hide. Something underneath is waking, that something yearning to fade. If the blind would see the binding, they could burn the hidden name. Tear the code, the beast implanted. Refuse the numbered claim. police control, prisoners of the system, bodies tracked and bought and sold. They